Hi everyone, welcome back to Diary of My Dragon. Today is a slightly different video because last week we went cross country for the first time this year. I think for the first time since July. So it was a big deal. We'd also had a bit of a chaotic week. So on Tuesday, Ruby refused to load again and she reared straight up and fell on her back legs. So obviously panic stations, I thought she'd injured herself. Luckily she was okay. We managed to get her on the box again and took her to a dressage lesson where she was totally sound. Then I hacked her on the Wednesday just to make sure again that she was sound and she was bouncing and happy. So we took her to cross country on Thursday. Loading wise, it took a couple of us to get her on, but you know, she went on within 5 minutes both ways. So I can't complain. It's just annoying that I'm not doing it myself again now. But anyway, we went cross country. So I thought for today I would have a go at doing a little voiceover for you because I didn't actually vlog it properly, mostly because I didn't want the pressure of vlogging. But the wonderful Faith came with me, who you guys have met before, and filmed pretty much all the jumps so I can show you exactly how it went from start to finish. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so here we are warming up, and she went around really nicely, walk, trot and canter, so I was really pleased. First jump, absolutely terrified of this at camp, but boom, over she goes, nailed it. This one was a bit spooky because it had gaps, but actually she went really nicely over it. Riding a bit defensively to this one, but luckily it was just a big green thing, so she was like, yeah, alright, over we go. And again, this was a brush, and she was very keen about this, so I was really chuffed with her. We stayed in trot for all of these, as you'll see, mostly because she gets really, really excited and tanks off. And here, too defensive, so she's like, well, I don't really understand that, so we're not going to go. So round again in a nice active trot, much more active, and boom, over she goes. And same again, just to make sure that we've got that. This was much nicer, I was really pleased, but myself and my instructor basically told me to keep her in trot for all of it just to make sure. This was a very spooky viaduct. The other two horses had refused it, so I'd obviously come in defensively and Rue was like, nah. So in we go again, and yeah, over she goes. Really chuffed with that. And there was a little railway sleeper there. So once again, much more confident, much more flying, and flew over the sleepers. Round to this giant roll top that she decided she wanted to absolutely eat alive and go really fast over it. Then she gets her legs all in a muddle and just flies over these, getting all her legs in a tumble, but she knows best, she thinks. This was much nicer, much more controlled. I had much more of a handle on her strides. This freaked me right out because it was downhill, so it was like an Alps kind of roll top type thing, so I wasn't sure how she'd read the colours on it, but kind of went, yeah, over she goes. I had to make sure that I wasn't pulling her to the left. Here we just got our legs in a little bit of a muddle, so we come around again to do it once more confidently, and I also make sure that I'm riding her straight down. Better. Oh, that was a skinny. Absolutely loving the logs here. She doesn't seem to like the skinny ones so much. It's almost, especially if they're smaller, she's almost a bit like, well, what's the point? Why do I go over it when I could just go around it? So I really have to keep her between my hand and my leg over these. And again, another reason for staying in trot, just to make sure that we are getting over it and we're getting over them confidently. Now, this absolutely terrified me. The drop down scared the living daylights out of me, but she looked after me really, really, really well. And Emma at this point was basically telling me to ride more positively, which is exactly what I needed to do the whole way. But I'm not even going to lie, I was terrified. Did that nicely. Actually cantering up towards the steps. But here, I again just get a bit tense and I don't release with my hands as well as I possibly could have, especially the way that I released them the first time. And down to the water. Now, you guys all know that water is Ruby's absolute nemesis, so we walked her through it first, gave her a little trot through it this way, and then in a minute we approach again in trot to trot all the way through. And I was really pleased because sometimes it can take me quite a bit of time to get her down into water. So here she's doing really well. She only has a tiny look and then trot straight through to pop the log. So yeah, really, really chuffed with that. Really pleased with how she went through the water. Okay, and this pink house, the other two ponies had refused as well. So once again, coming in a little bit defensively, but Ruby pops it beautifully. Really chuffed with her for that. And again, much more confident. Boom. Ruby absolutely loved these jumps. I love her pricked ears going over these. Here I lost a tiny bit of control. I'm going to stop talking so that you can hear Emma. Over to this little style thing. Again, I wasn't really sure how she'd read this. She was kind of a bit like wobbly going into it, so I just really stuck my leg on for those. And then over to the ditch. Luckily Ruby's as good as gold with ditches, so she just kind of trots over happily and then pops it nicely. Same again, so riding a bit more confidently to it this time. Hoping to get a nice canter away. Lovely. Nice. And I just panic a little bit and bring her back to trot for the ditch. She would have cantered over the ditch really nicely, but you know what I'm like. Oh, these steps. I got brave and jumped the big one. And then I just didn't steer her properly, so we went over to the little one. And then coming back down, I was really pleased with how he came back down these steps, because they're not far off the same height as that drop down into this sunken road. But she just went down really nicely. So then we got brave and did both big steps. Good girl. Okay, a Trachena. Again, absolutely bricking it for this, but Ruby was brilliant. And also bricking it for this. Ooh, here it is, the chair. You can see how defensively I'm riding into that. It's really bad. I need to relax properly, but I was genuinely terrified. Every time I thought we'd nailed a question that Emma asked us, she presented us to another terrifying thing. So Trachena, and then a nice canter to the chair. Ruby locks on. Boom. The final couple of jumps now here. So this was a palisade, I think it was called. Again, wasn't sure how she'd read it. She got her legs in a little bit of a tangle there. But a nice, sturdy canter down. I mean, at least she's not wall of deathing with me anymore. And then back to trot for the house, because at camp last year we ran out a couple of times at this house. So just approaching in trot, yep, flying over it, no problem. So coming around to do it again. Now I get really confident here, so we fly down to it. I'm keeping that canter. Rue's throwing her head around because she's having such a good time. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now I don't hold her enough here, and she takes control and just kind of gets her legs in a bit of a muddle. So we come round just to do the house one more time. That was that. I hope you've enjoyed watching our cross-country footage and enjoyed listening to my voiceovers or me just babbling along, watching myself ride really defensively. As you can see, I was really scared. I haven't done it since July, and I am just generally a wuss. Like, I find these things scary, but I also really want to do it. And I know how much Ruby loves it. So I'm determined to get more confident. Now that we've got one under our belts, we're going to go back and do a few more and just get out and do a bit more cross country and have some more fun with it. But she was a legend. I couldn't fault her at all. We had like a couple of run-outs, but they were my fault because I just wasn't riding positively because I was so scared. And most of the time she was like, all right, Mum, I got this. You'll be fine. And then for the questions that she needed more confidence from me, I just wasn't there to give it to her. So, but she always popped it the second time round, which, you know, I can't fault her for that. So, super, super good first cross-country outing. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to follow us along and see how we get on, watch our progress with cross-country, then please like and subscribe, as I really, really do appreciate it. But other than that, I hope you've enjoyed your Easter bank holiday weekend, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers and gone. Bye.